Hey everyone, it's TK Friday. I'm really excited as always. Did you see that new feature in the TK8 Multi-Mask panel, the Edge Mask feature? Did you wonder what that's all about? Well, we're going to tap into that today. By the way, there's also a bonus tutorial at the end of the first part. I'll show you how I use an Edge Mask with an Orton effect, which will give you better results. Hello everyone and welcome to the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. Thanks for joining me today. Yes, it's another TK Friday and I'm always excited about that. Today we're going to look at edge masks. Have you ever wondered what this little flower icon was? Well, it is the edge mask icon. When you click it, an edge mask comes up. What is an edge mask? I'm glad you asked. You're going to find out today. Sharpening images is a very important part of the photo editing process. There are many different ways of sharpening images, but I'm going to show you a tried and true way, and that is using the Unsharp Mask in Photoshop. But I'm going to show you how to incorporate an edge mask along with that to get better sharpening results. And today we'll be working on 3 different images. The first image is my image. The second image is a stock image. This third image is my own image. And the last image, I'm going to work with an Orton effect and use the edge mask on that one. But we're going to start out with this image here first. I'll provide download links for the 2 stock images in the description below. When I was coming up with an idea for today's tutorial, I consulted the TK8 video guide, which I highly recommend. If you don't have it, get it. Also, if you don't have the TK8 plugin for Photoshop yet, grab it. But you can get the plugin for Photoshop along with the video guide for $49, which is a really good deal. And you can just get the video guide by itself for $29 if you don't have it yet. It's a great stocking stuffer. But if you'll use my promo code DK15, you'll save 15% off anything you buy on Tony Kuiper's website. And you can just click on my affiliate link in the description below this video and it'll take you right over to this page. Well, enough of that, let's get started. This technique I'm going to show you today is not all mine. Tony Kuiper and I worked together to figure out how to make this all work, working with this edge mask. So thanks, Tony, for helping me out on this one. I appreciate it. But here's the first thing you want to do. You want to go ahead and make a copy of your background layer. You can either click this icon to stamp the layer, or you can click this icon to just make a copy of that layer and put it above there. Tony printed out a list of the instructions for what I'm going to show you today, and I will have that in the description below this video for your reference. Step number 2, come up to Filter and down to Sharpen. And then open up the Unsharp Mask filter. Now, here's the filter here. Now you'll notice, here's my starting point always for any image. Amount 200% for this technique I'm showing you, radius of 2, threshold of 1. And I find that generally is the one that I'll use, but sometimes I'll use another one, and that is 300%. Whenever you're doing 300%, just change the radius to 3. 300%, radius 3, always leave the threshold at 1. That will give you extra sharpening, and if you need less sharpening than 200%, then go down to 150%. The radius would then be 1.5. Do you see how that works? 150, 1.5, and the threshold will always be 1. Now, don't forget, in the description below the video, there's going to be a list of instructions, and it'll explain this to you. What we're trying to achieve with this technique is maximum sharpness. We're actually overdoing the sharpness and adding halos. But that's all by design, because don't forget, we're working with an edge mask, and the edge mask will get rid of the halos. You'll see where this is going, but follow me closely. What I'm going to do is, you see this little square right here? I hope you can see that. I'm going to come to an edge here of one of these petals. And I'm going to zoom in here to like 400%. Can you see that little edge on there? That's the halo right there, okay? So we want to add a halo. So 200% works fine. If I go to 300% and 3 pixels, that halo will get even wider. But if you don't see a halo, you might need to bump it up to 300%. Or if you see too much of a halo, you might need to come down to 150%. I generally find that 200%, again, is going to work pretty much most of the time. Sometimes I will have to bump it up to 300%. But this amount is determined by me seeing a halo. This is very important. We do want to see a halo. Not too much of a halo, but a halo just like this. So I'll use this amount, 200, 2, and 1, and click OK. Now let me go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to zoom into 100%. Let's even zoom into 200%. I'm going to go in one more time, click the plus here, and let's take a look. Here is the before, and here is the after. So the before and the after. And as you can see, I have some halos around the edges here, like here and here. All right, and it really is over sharpened at this point. Again, here's the before and here's the after. Now let's go ahead and work with the edge mask next. Before I add the edge mask, this is a crucial next step. Step number 3, shut off this layer. So click the eye and shut that sharpened layer off, okay? Then come up and click on the flower icon and open up your edge masks. The next step is, you see this icon right here, it looks like a little water drop. This is the blur icon for blurring, so click this. The first thing you want to do is blur this 2 pixels. It's always going to be 2 pixels in this formula, and click OK. I just type 2 right in the radius and click OK. That's all you need to do. Now, it's very important that you remember the amounts you used in the Unsharp Mask. We used 200% and a 2 pixel radius. We want to add a 2 pixel radius to this edge here. See right now, you see the white edge here? I want this to get a little wider. So I'm going to come to this icon right here to maximize that edge. This is your maximize icon. This is your minimize icon. We don't want the edge to get more narrow. We want it to get wider. So we're going to use the icon on the left, the maximum icon. We used a 2 pixel radius in the Unsharp Mask, so now we need to make this a 2 pixel radius. So just highlight it and type in 2, and that'll give you a 2 pixel radius. And click OK. Preserve is on roundness, just leave it that way, and click OK. Right now, the edges are white, which will reveal on a layer mask, as you know. We need to conceal the edges, so we need to what? What do you think? Invert? Well, we have an invert icon right here. Just click it, and now we've made the edges dark. So that's going to protect our edges from halos. Pretty cool, right? And now all we need to do is apply. So come to this icon right here. It'll apply it to our layer, which is our Unsharp Mask layer. Click this. And now we have that mask attached to it. And if we click this double arrow here, we can see what that mask looks like, right? Now, right now, that layer is shut off. So let me go ahead and turn it on. Now, let's take a look at the before and after. Here is the before, and here is the after. Now, remember, we have the edge protection turned on here. If I come over to this B over here and really zoom into this B, let me shut the edge protection off. By clicking this edge right here, this will disable this mask. Can you see the halos around the edges here? Now watch when I turn it back on. They pretty much go away. They're very much reduced anyway. You need a little bit on there just to see the actual sharpening. Now I'm zoomed way in here to like, how far am I zoomed in? I'm zoomed in to like 470%. So I'm way in here, okay? But anyway, here again is the without the edge protection. And here it is with the edge protection. But as you can see, it's doing a great job. Let me go to the actual size of the image here and see if you can see it here. I hope you can see it on your monitors at home. Here's the before the sharpening, and here is the after the sharpening. Let me go into 100%. Here is the before, and here is the after. So it does a great job. We also have 2 different ways of fine-tuning this image. If it's too sharp, you have this opacity slider that you can start to pull back to the left to decrease some of the sharpness. If you need more sharpness, you can make sure you have the mask selected, double-click the mask, and see the density here. You can add more sharpness by dragging this density to the left here. And the more you drag it, the lighter this mask will get, and that'll add more sharpness. So to take sharpness away, reduce the opacity. To add sharpness, work on the layer mask and reduce the density. If double-clicking the layer mask doesn't open up the properties, just open up the properties panel and make sure you're on the mask, okay? Because if I click here, you can see it's giving me the pixel layer information. Make sure the layer mask is clicked on. I just want to point out with Photoshop give you a choice. When you double click the mask, you can either open up the properties panel or open up the selected mask dialog. So if yours is opening up the selected mask dialog, you're going to have to get out of there and come back and open up your properties panel. On to the next image. Let me close the properties panel and let's click on our next image. This image I do provide for you. All right, so we want to duplicate the background layer. Let's just click this icon here. Let's go to filter. We'll go a little quicker. Unsharp Mask. Okay. This one I've experimented and I'm going to come up here. See the little square? If I come up here on the edge and let's zoom in. No, actually, I do have a halo here. I think I want a little larger halo. I'm going to change this one to 300%, because I've experimented and I like that little extra halo on here. But remember, if I do 300 here, I have to do 3 here. All right, and that's cool. And I'll just click OK. And now you can see here's my before and here's my after. Super amount of sharpness. It's extra crisp. If I zoom in, you can really see it's crunchy. There's the before and there's after, okay? Let me go back to full size here. So I'm at 300% in the Unsharp Mask and 3 on the pixel radius. Now we need to shut this layer off. Then go up to Edge Mask, the flower icon, click on it, and give it that 2 pixel blur. Just type in the number 2 if this is highlighted in blue. And click OK. And then just come up and click on the Maximize Maximum Edge dialog icon. Click this and change this. Remember, we use 3 pixels in the Unsharp Mask. So I'm going to highlight this and type in 3. So now I have 3 pixels on here. Click OK. And remember, we need to invert it. So click on the invert, because right now the edge is white. We want to invert it to make the edge dark. So now the edge is dark to hide the halos. And now all we need to do is output it to the Unsharp Mask layer by clicking this icon right here. And check it out. We don't see anything, right? Because the layer's turned off. Don't let that fool you. It just fooled me. I'm going to say, wow, it doesn't look any sharper. And it doesn't. So let's click this on and turn it on. But look at that. It may be a little over sharp, okay? But if I were to click this X and disable this mask, you can see it's super crunchy, right? But look how that's really protecting it. So we need to fine tune this one. Before I fine tune this, let's zoom up into this edge a little bit. So let me hit the plus key a couple times here. And let's go up to the edge. Let me shut off this edge protection and check this out. See the halo? And now watch when I click this, the halo is gone. Very cool, right? So let me go ahead and resize it to fit screen. So it's too sharp. So what we need to do is take the opacity and just start to ease it off a little bit. So I'm going to take it back to maybe, let's try 82%. Here is the before and here's after, but look how beautifully sharp that is. Let's go ahead and zoom into it a little bit so we can really see it here. Here is the before and here's the after. There's a buffalo and I think it is, oh, it's right down here. Check this buffalo out. Here is the before, and here is the after. Now, I still may be a little too strong, so I'm going to ease this off a little bit more. Now, remember, I used 300%, so I was really aggressive. So I'm going to bring it down to like 72%. Here is the before, and here's the after. But look how beautifully sharp that is. Now, click this icon. That'll fit it to screen. So again, here is the before, and here is the after. When I set up the Unsharp Mask filter, I used 300% and 3 on the pixel radius. I could have probably got away with 200%. So if you try this at home, try 200%. I think it'll probably work. But remember, you can always pull back on the opacity. No big deal if you're over sharpened. Or if you need more sharpening, make sure you have the layer mask selected and open up the properties panel and just pull back on the density, and that'll make the image sharper. Let's move on to the last sharpening example, and then we're going to move on to the Orton effect where I show you how to use the edge mask. All right, so we got this image. We need to duplicate the background layer. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's open up the Unsharp Mask filter right here. And I'm going to use 200%. I'm going to type 200. And remember, 200%, we also want 200 or 2 on the pixel radius. So type 2. Threshold always at 1 for our formula. Click OK. Shut this layer off. Come up and turn on the Edge Mask dialog. Open it up. Go to blur. We want to blur this 2 pixels. OK. We want to go to the maximum edge mask. Open this up. Let's highlight this and type 2 here. See how quick it can be? And then just click OK. And then all we need to do is invert it. And then apply it. And then turn on the layer and see the result. So there's the sharpening. This is at full size here. This is the sharpening result. And here is before sharpening. And here is after. And if I were to disable the protection, the layer mask protection, let's disable it. Look how crunchy it is. Okay. So now here it is with the layer mask protection. So just like that, it's that easy. I did this one fast just to show you how quick this really is. It takes a while to explain this stuff. And I'm happy with this result. I don't need to add extra sharpening, or I don't have to pull back any sharpening. I think it's perfect. And like I said, that 200% with the 2 pixel radius and the 1 threshold is generally the one you're probably going to use most of the time. And now it's time for the bonus tutorial. So let's go ahead and open up that image. Holiday ornament. Hey, an Orton effect would look really great in here, give it a nice, soft, dreamy look. So that's why I chose this image. You can go ahead and download this image. It's provided in the description below. It's a stock image. Let me go ahead and fit it to screen by clicking this icon right here on the TK8 CX panel. And let's come to our actions and simply, let's just add a regular Orton effect. Now, I learned this technique from watching that TK8 video guide from Sean Bagshaw, and he gives you some other ways of using the edge mask as well, things I haven't covered today. So if you don't have that video, I highly recommend it. It just gives you all kind of information on the TK8 panel. It's the TK8 video guide, and you can save 15% on it. Remember that. So let's go ahead and leave the radius at 10 by default. I'm going to click OK. And as you can see, when you're using an Orton effect, you get a nice soft glow, but we lose a little bit of detail on the edges. And that's where the edge mask is going to come in. So let's take a look. Here's the before and here's the after. But see the detail we've lost. But let me show you what to do. So here's the Orton effect group. We want to put a mask on this group. So we're going to leave this on, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to come up and click that same edge mask icon, get our edge mask, and we're going to do the same 2 pixel blur. Okay. And then we're going to go to the maximum edge. And remember, it was a 10 pixel radius for the Orton effect. So I'm going to come here and type 10 and click OK. 10 radius, 10 maximum radius as well. And then all we need to do is simply invert it. We have to invert it because right now the edges are all light. We need the opposite and we need them dark. So we invert it and now they're all dark. You see that? All we need to do is apply it to that group. And check it out. Let's disable this layer mask. This is what it looks like without the layer mask, and this is what it looks like with the layer mask. Now, if you want a little more dreamy look, all you have to do is come up, make sure you have the mask selected, go to properties. No, that's not properties. This is properties, and you can pull the density back. You see that, and you can add more dreamy glow there. But I like it the whole way up. I think it looks really nice. Or if you felt you had too much Orton effect, you can take the opacity and start to pull this back if you want to. Okay? So just like that. But I'm going to leave it up full. It's Christmassy. It's got a nice glow. Here's what it looks like without the Orton effect. Here's what it looks like with the Orton effect. And the edge mask is bringing back some detail. And if I disable the edge mask, it gets a lot softer. Now, you may like that look, but if you want to bring back some detail, do this technique I showed you with the edge mask, okay? Now, the Orton effect is great for landscape images, any type of photography, but when you're losing too much detail with the Orton effect, add an edge mask to that group. It'll really help. Well, there it is. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. Give it a try, and please leave comments and questions. I'd really love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the tutorial today, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and if you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe. Click the bell notification icon, then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll be notified about it. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today in the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. I'll see you all right here next time, but until then, happy editing.